4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What is going on, whatever nation, and welcome to the show. Welcome to episode 13 of the Whatever I Find Entertaining podcast. I'm so happy to have y'all with me. I got another great episode for y'all today, like usual. Only the top-notch content from my whatever nation. We got plenty of topics to go through as usual. We got some video games. We got some Marvel stuff as usual, and just a regular show, man. It's gonna be good. But first, before we get into that, as usual, wellness check. How is everybody out there doing today? How is my welcome? I said my welcome nation. How is my whatever nation doing today, man? Are y'all being happy? Are y'all being healthy? Are y'all being good to yourselves and others? Because that's what's most important. And speaking of being good to yourself and others, I got an announcement. And if you follow me on Twitter, deethezo the Great at twitter.com. I don't know. Anyway, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I got my second vaccine shot. Yep, I did it a couple days ago. I feel great. My arm's a little sore, but just about everybody I know who's gotten the shot says, yeah, my arm was a little sore. So that's normal as hell. I feel fine. I'm happy I got it. I hope this doesn't backfire. I don't think it will, but I mean, what the fuck do I know about science, right? But yeah, we have already talked about vaccines in great length on this show. I don't want to go into it too much, but I'm happy I'm glad mine. If you feel like you want to get yours, go ahead. If you don't feel the need to want to get yours, then don't. It's up to you, man. It's your choice. Just like I've said before, make sure you make an educated decision. That's what's most important. Moving on into our topics. Like I said, we got plenty of stuff to talk about today. I can't wait to get into it. We got Loki. We're gonna save that for last. We're gonna talk about the first episode. Spoiler alert, I loved it. But we got some video game stuff. There's this movie called Free Guy that I saw a preview of. Not preview, trailer. Starring Deadpool's own Ryan Reynolds. It looks pretty damn good. I can't lie. It looks pretty good. It's only gonna be in theaters though, so. But we don't think that we'll get to that eventually. We got a lot going on. There's a kind of a E3 style virtual festival going on called Summer Game Fest. The first day of that was the 10th, and Jeff Keighley, I think I'm saying his name, Jeff Keighley. I think I'm saying his name right. Well, the guy who usually hosts the video game awards, who's big name in the video game world. I don't know, it's like an E3 except it's all virtual presentations. I don't know if it's a part of E3 or it is the new E3 or it replaced E3. I don't know what's going on, but it's a lot of video game stuff, and we're gonna get into a lot of the stuff that they were talking about on the show. That's where I saw the trailer for Free Guy. But yeah, we're gonna get into that, and then we're gonna talk about episode 1 of Loki. So we're gonna take a quick break right quick, and then we're gonna get into it. I'll be right back. And welcome back to the show. First thing, we're gonna do a quick segment because I'm gonna have the Summer Game Festival. That's gonna be like its own thing. So before I get into all of the news that was announced at the show, I want to just talk about a movie and a game right quick that's unrelated to the Summer Game Festival. And the movie is Free Guy, and it's a really interesting looking movie starring Ryan Reynolds, like I said, where he plays it's like he lives in a world of GTA, and he just plays an NPC. He's not like an important character at all. He's just one of those characters you see walking down the street on their phone or whatever. And he at some point he realizes that he's in a video game and he can do whatever he wants. So I guess like the creator of the video game decides he's gonna destroy the video game. I don't know. It looks really wacky and really weird, and it's starring I don't want to butcher his name, but Taka Wakiti. I think it's how you say his name, who he directed Thor 3 and he's directing Thor 4. And he's playing like the villain in this movie. That's a really funny dude, bro. And you could tell by watching Thor 3, he is a really funny dude. Like I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything he starred in that you would know him from. But he is just a really silly dude. Follow his social media, bro. I don't know it off the top of my head, but he's just really funny. I love the guy. I'm so happy he turned Thor around. And I can't, and unrelated to what I was gonna say, he's claiming that Thor 4 is gonna be funnier than Thor 3. And Thor 3 was like one of the funniest movies in the MCU. And he's saying 4 is gonna be funnier, which is just mind blowing to me, but I'm down with it. I can't wait. I can't fucking wait for it. But anyway, he plays a guy who designed like a GTA type game, and I guess he's gonna destroy it for whatever reason, because he's just a dude. He's just a fucked up dude. And so Ryan Reynolds' character is his goal to save the video game world that he exists in. And he's not like, keep in mind, he's not like a character being controlled by a real life player. No, he's just a straight up NPC that the computer program runs. Like nobody's controlling him. He's just a rogue computer program, which is, it's an interesting concept. I can't wait. It's not even, I was gonna say it's like a Tron type thing, but Tron was a human entered a video game. And this ain't a human entering a video game. There aren't any humans here that I could tell of. Like there's no player interaction. These are just NPCs interacting with each other and living their daily lives until they realize that they're a part of a video game and their world's not real. But I mean, it's like, if it's real to you, it's real. I don't mean to get all existentially deep on you, but I mean, who knows? We could be living in a simulation. But anyway, the movie's called Free Guy. I can't remember the release date, but it does look really good. Please go to YouTube and look up the trailer. It's Free Guy, REEGUY. I highly recommend it. Next, I want to talk about, I just recently got the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection. I'm trying to decide whether I want to put up, record some stuff for YouTube with it. I don't know. I think I will. I'm leaning towards yes, but it's not 100% guaranteed yet. But I can't wait to play it. I got a bit of a history with the first Ninja Gaiden Sigma, and if you want to know about it, then you should go watch the video up on YouTube. But yeah, I don't know. I played it. I never beat it. It's a very difficult game. If you ever played Ninja Gaiden, they are not simple games. They are not easy games. They are very difficult to learn, and you will get your ass kicked right from the beginning. Like, it does not pull any punches. It does not get easier. It only gets harder. It starts off on 10 and then it somehow goes past 10, even though the scale was only 210. But yeah, I can't wait to play it. Like I said, I never got past the first one because there's a point in and I don't want to spoil too much, but there's a point in, like, I don't know, halfway or maybe a little bit more than halfway, where they switch your character and you're forced to play with a character that just wasn't fun for me. So I'd stop playing the game. So that means I never got to play I never got to play Gaiden 2 or 3. So I'm really excited about having all of these. I mean, it was like 3 games for like $30 or $40. So that's a fucking deal. So yeah, I can't wait for that. I just want to get that out of the way. Just maybe self promote my YouTube right quick. YouTube.com/deethezo, DEETHEZO. Let you know that there might be some content coming, some Ninja Gaiden style content coming, and tell you about Free Guy. And now we're gonna take a quick break. And I just said, damn, another break already. Look, bro, I gotta go pay the bills. Like, I gotta keep the show on the air. Yeah, we'll be right back, and then we're gonna talk about all the shit I saw, because it was like a 4-hour presentation. So we're gonna talk about all the shit I saw at the Summer Game Fest. Well, day 1 of the Summer Game Fest. So I'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. Next thing I want to talk about is the Summer Games Fest And like I mentioned earlier, it's some kind of E3 style event. But while E3 was like 3 days and it was like a convention that you can go to, this is completely 100% virtual. It's free. Like anybody could watch the stuff, and it's online. So like you don't have to watch it while they're live streaming. Like you can watch the live stream, or you can catch it later, or you can go to your favorite YouTube channel that covers video games, and they'll have excerpts of shit that was talked about. Like it's the way it's organized is like you can get this information in a lot of different places. Like you can, like I said, I watched day one of it, which was on the 10th. And that was like a 4-hour presentation. And I watched the whole thing, and they covered like a shit ton of games, bro. They covered some games. There was this cool musical performance. There was two cool musical performances. One was by this lady. I don't know if it's a lady or a group, but I saw one lady singing called Japanese Breakfast, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I was gonna say I highly recommend you check her music out, but I mean, if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. It's definitely my type of thing. It was really like if you like what's her name, Utada Hikaru, I think is how you say her name. That's the lady who sung the intros for the Kingdom Hearts games. If you like her music, you'll like Japanese Breakfast. If you like anime intros, you'll like her music. Not because they're all Japanese, you racist bastard, but because they sound very similar. It's she performed a song that's gonna be on a game, but it was really chilled, laid back kind of music. So it was pretty dope. I enjoyed it. Japanese Breakfast. Highly recommend you go check her or them out. I don't remember if it was a group or one person. I mean, it was one lady singing, but when I looked them up, it was like a group. So I'm not sure. But anyway, that's not the point. Point is that she performed, and then I saw Weezer, which I love. I fucking love Weezer, bro. It's kind of indie rock. I don't even know if rock is alternative punk, maybe. I don't know what genre their music is, but I love Weezer. I love Weezer a lot. They performed a dope ass song to I cannot remember. They performed to another game too. It was like I don't know. It looked like a Tony Hawk game because they were doing tricks. But it was like if Tony Hawk was on like a jet ski instead of a skateboard. But also it looked like there was some kind of like vehicle combat too. I don't know what was going on with that game. That game was weird as hell looking. But the song was dope. But yeah, it's like I kind of got off track there. But like I was saying, it was like it was a 4-hour presentation, and there was music, there was video games, there was movies. It was just a lot going on. So I'm saying it's like an E3, except this is going to last from June 10th all the way to June 22nd. And I guess every day they're going to have some new content. It's going on right now as I speak. And I'll probably be talking about this next week too. Because like I said, it's going on pretty much the whole month of June. It's just supposed to be some game festival where it like brings together all facets of the gaming world, the gaming community, mainstream games with indie games, competitive games with single player games, just all over the place, you know, different races, different cultures, all kinds of stuff, man. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. There's going to be content every day for a whole month. How can you be against that? They talked about so much, bro. They talked about Evil Dead, that 4-player game where graphics wise, it looks very impressive. Bruce Campbell's in it, so you know it's gonna be dope. The combat looks, I love it. I love how it looks. When it comes to combat, bro, you can't really judge it until it's in your hands and you can feel it. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's not a thing you can judge based on looks. It looks good. If it plays like it looks dope. Because I haven't seen a combat engine like that before. I can't explain it. But the way they go from like guns to melee kind of It's quick and it's smooth like Devil May Cry. But the combat's not like Devil May Cry, but just that going from guns to melee is quick and it looks natural like in Devil May Cry. Because Devil May Cry can go from hitting you with some nunchucks to shooting you with a rocket launcher. And you're just like, man, what? But yeah, the combat looks dope. That's probably my favorite part. It looks dope as hell. There's different characters. I'm assuming they play different. But I'm like, if you can play as Bruce Campbell, bro, who wants to play anything else? Like, I just know if I get 3 friends together, it's just gonna be like, I want to be Bruce Campbell. I'm probably going to end up being a chick or a healer because that's what I usually play in these type of games. But anywho, it looks really good. It looks, I mean, I don't really have any complaints about it so far. I hope it plays like it looks. I don't know how much story or how long a game like that can be, but I ain't gonna lie, it looks good as hell. I can't fake it. They talked about the news, I think season 4 for the Warzone Call of Duty, but they're also adding some stuff to the multiplayer. I said season 4 to Call of Duty. Did I say Warzone? I meant to say season 4 of the Warzone. But they're also adding some stuff to Cold War, and they're adding some stuff to the zombie shit. So they got a lot of I think most of it's free. It said free event. So I think most of the stuff is going to be free. I saw some dope looking executions in there. They look like they were introducing a new character. So yeah, it looks good. I can't lie. I don't really play Call of Duty anymore because of how they just fucked over Modern Warfare. But I mean, that's my personal thing. That's nothing we need to get into here. They talked about finally they talked some gameplay for Elden Ring, which if you know me, I've been talking about Elden Ring for some years now. I was convinced it didn't exist because I feel like we've been hearing about Elden Ring for like 5 or 6 years, bro. Like, and if you don't know Elden Ring, I believe it's like if the Dark Souls guys from Software, of course, made a game in the Game of Thrones world, and I can't lie, it looks good, but I was convinced that it didn't exist. I was convinced. I've told more than one person that game ain't never coming out. Y'all can hang that up, bro. It's not happening. Y'all gonna get Half-Life 3 before y'all get Elden Ring. But I was wrong. It's supposed to come out, I think, January. I was gonna say January of next year, but obviously next January or this January, however you want to say that shit. It's supposed to come out early January. So yeah, I was wrong. I gotta shut the hell up. If it don't come out in January, then I'm back to talking my shit again about it'll never come out. So far, I mean, it sucks that they put a release date, because if they didn't do a release date, then that means for every month it don't come out, I was right. And if they delay it past January, I was right again. And you can eat crow. I was gonna say something worse than that, but this is a family show. All right, this show is for adults and kids alike. Everybody welcome at the Whatever I Find Entertaining podcast, and everybody's welcome in the Whatever Nation. Yeah, they talked about Elden Ring finally. They got some gameplay. It looks dope. Like I was so busy talking about how I never thought it existed. I don't think I talked about how good it looks. Graphics wise, it looks very impressive, but From Software games usually do. The combat looks dope. It definitely looks different from Dark Souls. It looks different from Bloodborne. It looks different from Sekiro. So that's great. Not that any of those combats are bad, but it's like, hey, give me a new combat engine. And I was just talking about combat engines for the last game too. It's just good to see some games not using the Arkham engine. Don't get me wrong. I love the Arkham fighting engine. It's dope. It's easy to pick up and difficult to master. But there are a lot of games that just like, oh fuck it, I'm gonna use this. And it's like shit. Fucking Assassin's Creed was using something like it for a while. The Lord of the Rings game, what the fuck is it called? Shadows of Mordor, Shadows of War. They use it. The Spider-Man PS4 and the PS5 games use it. So don't get me wrong, it's a great engine, but like do something different, bro. Like for real. Anyway, yeah, it looks great. I'm happy it exists. And I'm happy to be. One thing you gotta learn about me, bro, is that I have no problems being wrong. Like I be hoping to be proven wrong. When I say something's gonna happen, please prove me wrong. I don't have no problem with being wrong at all. It's not a big deal to me. But yeah, moving on. They talked about Far Cry 6, which, to be honest with you, I'm not really interested in. I kind of checked out of Far Cry after 4. And I know what you're thinking, but it's only 2 games, Far Cry 5, and then this is Far Cry 6. It sounds like 2 games, but it's not, because they did a Far Cry 5. Then they also did like some kind of, they did like, I don't know, it was like Far Cry, but it was in caveman days. I don't know. But then they also did like a Far Cry where you played as these 2 sisters, and that didn't have a number. I don't remember what that was called. So it sounds like it's like Assassin's Creed, bro. It sounds like only 5 games, but really it's like 10. So yeah, and I think it's kind of funny that both of those are Ubisoft games, but Ubisoft do sequels too much, bro. Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm just burnt out. I don't really like. They got fuck. I don't remember how to pronounce. It's like Luis Esposito. I think is how you say his name. He's dope. I love that actor. He played Gus in Breaking Bad. He played I don't remember that guy's name. He was in Mandalorian. He played the guy who ended up having the black lightsaber at the end. I don't remember his name though. He's a great actor. He's dope. He's amazing in everything he does. So it's cool to see him, but I won't be playing it. I'm burnt. I played enough Far Cry. It was crazy is I only played 3 and 4. That's all I played. 3 I loved. I thought 3 was phenomenal. But I just felt like 4 was just, it was just eh. 4 was just 3 again, except instead of being in a tropical jungle, you in the mountains. So it was, I don't know. I'm good. I don't need another Far Cry in my life. I'm straight. They talked about Wonderlands. Now that looks interesting. They talked about so many fucking games, bro. Wonderlands. I remember when he was announcing it, he was talking about it, and he said the companies that are making it. I said, this sounds like another Borderlands. And then they start showing the trailer. I'm like, nah, this don't look like Borderlands. But then they start showing the character models, and I was like, I think this is another Borderlands. And then it was like, welcome to Wonderland. And I'm like, okay, that's good enough. That's fine. Wonderland is fine. A huge Borderlands fan. I played the first one, loved the fuck out of it. Played 2, loved the fuck out of it. Never got around to playing 3. I don't know why. I just didn't get around to it. Played. There was the pre-sequel, which like took place between 1 and 2. I think played that one. It was good. And then there was another one I played. I don't remember what it was called. So I played like 4 Borderlands. I know what you're saying, bro. You played 4 Borderlands, you're not sick of that, but you only played 2 Far Cries and you sick of that. I guess, bro, it's my own opinion. Fuck off. Like, I'm sorry. That's just how I feel about the situation. But anyway, Wonderlands looks dope. Well, I ain't gonna say it looks dope. They didn't show any gameplay. They just announced it, and it looks cool from there. But they talked about Overwatch 2, which we've already talked about on the show. They talked about some new stuff they're adding to Among Us, which is cool. It's great. Among Us is still fun. I play with randoms now, but I mean, it's still fun as it ever been. They talked about Jurassic World Evolution 2, which I know nothing about. I never even heard of the first Jurassic Park Evolution, so I don't know. They didn't show. They just showed the Jurassic Park world. I don't know. I don't even know what kind of game it is. I don't know if it's a first-person shooter or it's one of those like build your own park games, tycoon games or whatever. I don't know what it is, so I can't really comment on it because I have no clue what the actual gameplay of it is. I mean, graphics-wise, it looked good, but I've never really been that big of a Jurassic Park fan, so I mean, I couldn't really care less. Anyway. They talked about Left 4 Dead 3. I mean, Back 4 Blood, which is just. I wonder what the logistics are and why they didn't just call it Left 4 Dead. Because, I mean, it's made by the people that made Left 4 Dead. It looks and plays exactly like Left 4 Dead. So, like, what happened? I really need to do my behind the scenes research on that because it's just Left 4 Dead 3. But whatever. It's Back for Blood. I mean, it looks interesting. I don't think it's gonna be on PlayStation, so I probably won't play it. But hey, it looks cool. I ain't no problem with it. That was an interesting game they did show. This game called Vampire the Masquerade, which is not a new game by any means. It's been out for a minute, but I guess this is like a spin-off or something, because it was called Blood Hunt. But it was showing some really cool like combat, and you had all these different type of weapons. It wasn't gameplay, so I don't know like how it works. I don't know if this is like a multiplayer thing or something. I don't know. They just showed a trailer and there wasn't anybody talking about it. So I don't know. It looks cool though. You're a vampire and you get to do cool vampire shit. So if vampires are your thing, then hey, this might be up your alley. Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt. Also, I should have said this at the top of the show, but apparently this year is Sonic's 30th anniversary, and I don't know if they're doing a game. That was another musical performance I forgot to mention. Orchestra just did some Sonic music. It was pretty dope. They chose Unleashed, which I'm not sure why, but yeah, I don't know why they picked Unleashed. That's like the worst, like the second, that's like the third worst Sonic game, bro. Like, I don't know why they picked that one, but the music was good, so maybe that's why they picked that one. Maybe the music was good in that game. But yeah, it's like Sonic is 30 now? That doesn't seem true though. I mean, if you don't know about me, I'm 33. And like Sonic's just 3. There's no way Sonic came out when I was 3 years old, bro. There's no way. Like I've been playing Sonic games since the beginning. Like I wasn't playing video games at 3 years old. So yeah, I don't know. That just doesn't seem believable that Sonic is 30 years old. But whatevs. Yeah, that was just. I mean, there was another game called Endless Dungeon, which I mean, it looks like it may be kind of cool. The game definitely seems like it has a sense of humor, which I love any game that tries to entertain me with its story. And when I say entertain, I mean like inject some humor in your shit, bro. I don't need super serious stuff all the time. I play plenty of games that's super serious, and usually when I do, I play them with my music on and I don't pay no attention to the story. Like Neo 2. Not to look, that game was dope. I loved Neo 2, but beyond the fact that you had a twin brother or a sister that you had to fight at some point in the game, I can't tell you what the fuck was going on in that story. And you were half demon, but they don't call them demons, they call them something else. But yeah, besides that, I have no idea what the story was. But the gameplay was dope. So, but yeah, the point is like, I would like a more interesting, like humorous story. Cause I've played through so many games where I'm just like, I don't know what the story is. I'm playing a game right now called Dead Cells, where I don't know what the story is. But I think that's left purposely vague because it kind of does that whole From Software thing where, hey, the lore's in the game, you just got to find it. But also, I just finished a game called Control, where that story was serious the whole time, and it wasn't anything like. What's what I'm looking for? There wasn't very much humor in there. That was like that was serious the whole time, but I enjoyed the hell out of it. Control was a brilliant game. If you know me, you know I prefer humor. That's in my video games, in my anime, in story, in TV shows, movies. I like making people laugh, and I like laughing. If it's a crime, sue me. Why would you sue somebody for? Never mind. Yeah, that about wraps up all the. I mean, listen. Don't get me wrong. There was way more. So like I said, it was a 4-hour presentation, so there was way more stuff in it than the games I named. But those are just some of the ones that stuck out to me. And those are some of the games. Some of them I'm interested in, not all of them. Not all the ones I listed am I even planning on getting. But I might check on some of them. But yeah, like Summer Games Fest, check it out, bro. There's a lot of shit going on. They got content stretching for like 12 days. So yeah, I think that's it. I think we're done with that segment of the show. I think next we just gonna get into Loki spoilers for episode 1. So I'm gonna give you a spoiler I almost said a spoiler event. That didn't even make sense. I'm gonna give you a spoiler warning now, and then when we come back from break, I'm gonna give you another spoiler warning because we finna go through what happened in the first episode of Loki. So I will be right back. Welcome back to the show. We are on our final segment of the episode, and we are back at least for the next 6 weeks. We are back finishing off the show with MCU stuff. It's been a while. I mean, it's been since Falcon and the Winter Soldier, since we were consistently ending the show on MCU stuff, but we back to that. So if you love that, we back, baby. And if you hated it, I mean, come on now, what's wrong with you? It's MCU. Everybody love the MCU. But spoiler warning, spoiler alert. We're about to go through the very first episode of Loki. Episode 1, Glorious Purpose, which is like Loki's favorite fucking thing to say. But yeah, let's get right into it. Like I said at the beginning of the show, huge surprise. I enjoyed it. I loved it to death. I thought it was great. I know I'm gonna love this show. I was already convinced I was gonna love the show, but I know just with dealing with this first episode, man. If the rest of the episodes continue anything like this, it's gonna be amazing. I am starting to think I'm becoming a fanboy because I can't remember the last time the MCU did something and I didn't like it. Like I can't remember I can't remember the last time they had a bad movie or a bad show or anything, bro. I can't even remember when they had a character that wasn't represented correctly. It's been so fucking long, bro. I'm starting to feel like I'm brainwashed by the MCU or like they paying me off or something. Cause I never have anything negative to say, which is weird because if you know me, you know I think I'm a critic and I'm always criticizing shit. But the MCU is just, they've been on point. Like, I'm trying to think the last time they had a movie where I'm just like, I don't like that movie. And it had to be either the second Iron Man or the second Thor. No, both of those was hellas ago. I think. Yeah, and the second Iron Man wasn't even all that bad. I just thought the villain was ass. Now the second Thor was bad. Like that whole movie. Like I've seen it recently. Keep in mind, I don't know if I said this on the show or not. I've recently watched the entire MCU in order of movie release. And I still can't tell you what Thor 2 was about. I can't remember. And I've seen it like 3 times now. Iron Man 2 I remember very vividly. And it's just the villain was whack. They were also dealing with a lot of different stuff in that movie, and it was kind of like Guardians 2, where it was a lot of different plots converging at once. You know, in Guardians 2, he was dealing with his father issues. Plus, he was also dealing with the Ravengers on his ass. Plus, he was also dealing with those people that were all at gold at the beginning. The people who thought they were perfect. He was also dealing with them on his ass, and like plus he was dealing with his feelings for Gamora and him realizing what real family was. Like there was a lot of shit going on at once in that movie, and that's how Iron Man 2 was. It was like he was dealing with father issues too. Plus he was dealing with this rival, Killian, I think was his name. He was dealing with the Killian guy, competing with him. Plus, I think that's when the liquor was starting to get to him. They was really starting to show how Tony Stark, like, bit of an alcoholic. Because I think that was the one where he was actually drunk in the suit and almost shot some people. And Rhodey had to show up and calm his ass down. But yeah, they had to deal with that. He was dealing with the, like I said, father issues, the rival, dealing with the alcohol. Plus, he had this Whiplash villain who's, in my opinion, the worst villain the MCU has seen so far. He just had electric whips, and he was mad because Tony Stark's father did something to his father hellas ago. That was it. Plus, he kept asking about a bird, but the bird didn't do anything. It didn't serve any plot purpose, and he kept complaining about the bird the whole episode. I said whole episode, the whole movie. And they got Mickey Rourke to play him too, and maybe it was Mickey Rourke's performance, but I don't know that character, so I don't know if that's how that character is supposed to be or not. But anyway, I'm talking about that shit way too long. I'm not supposed to be talking about that. I'm supposed to be talking about Loki. I don't know how the fuck did I just go off on a tangent like that about other movies? Anyway, the episode was dope. I loved it. Episode 1, Glorious Purpose. It was amazing to me. I got no complaints. I got absolutely not a single complaint about this episode. They did before, like right before I started recording today, they released a promotional episode. They released a promotional trailer for episode 2, but I mean there was nothing in it we haven't already seen, like in trailers before the show came out. So it wasn't nothing really that I need to discuss there. It looks good. Like that's about all I can say. It looks good, and I can't wait. It is weird having the shows come out on Wednesday now, but I mean, like I said, it ain't gonna stop. It ain't gonna stop our show. We still gonna record when we record, and we still gonna have. I guess if anything, that gives me more time to absorb it before I present it to you. So it ain't stopping our show. I guess we could just go through the episode now. To be for real. It starts off with them going all the way back to the end of the first Avengers, which is where this Loki is from. So that makes sense. And small little note, and this is just me being the lover of small details, where most people either don't notice or don't care. But they kind of remixed the Avengers theme to make it more mysterious because we're dealing with Loki here, and it was dope. I really liked it. It was great to see that scene again, because the whole scene was just, it was really, and this is what I mean by me enjoying humor and stuff. Like, not necessarily, when I say enjoying humor, I don't mean necessarily like I only like comedies, but you can be funny in anything. There's horror movie comedies, there's drama comedies, there's thriller comedies. Like, you can put humor in anything. Well, I'm not gonna say anything. Not everything can have comedy in it, but you can have characters be humorous. Like, you don't have to always be serious and drab and just melancholy all the damn time. But anyway, it was great to see this scene again. It was the final, I think it was the final scene of the first Avengers. Seeing Loki get his ass beat by the Hulk again, and seeing him make fun of Captain America, and seeing that scene where the elevator's full and they make Hulk take the stairs. And the thing that pisses me off is, I would think being in an elevator would piss the Hulk off. Even if he was in it by himself, I would think just the amount of time it would take for Hulk to be on the elevator and ride it from the top of Stark Tower to ground level, I think that would piss him off, because the Hulk seems like an impatient person. It seems like he want to wait. Like, first off, how the fuck he gonna push a button with them big ass fingers? Second off, he don't seem like the person that be patient enough to wait on the elevator. Like, you're the Hulk, bro. Just jump down. You'll beat them down anyway. But it was funny seeing that scene again. It was funny seeing the whole briefcase thing where they do the time heist shit, and it's like, just seeing Loki, seeing Tom Hiddleston's face again, it just shows what a great actor he is, because he's kind of like making me laugh, and he's not even saying anything. It's just his facial reactions, and his mouth's covered up with that thing so he can't talk, and he still could just look at his face like, what the fuck? Like, when a briefcase slides across the floor, he's like, the fuck was that? And then when Tony Stark gets hit with the door and he drops the briefcase and the Tesseract comes falling out, and he's looking like Loki's looking around like, are y'all seeing this shit? Like, are y'all? Ain't nobody? I'm the only person? And he just picks up the Tesseract and gets the fuck out of there. I do love that scene, man. That scene was just brilliant. So he ends up in the desert in Mongolia, which another interesting note. He ends up in the desert, lying in the sand, kind of like Tony Stark was in the beginning of not the beginning. That's a lie. Kind of how Tony Stark was towards the end of the first Iron Man movie, where he builds that piece of shit ass suit, and then he breaks out of the cave, and I think he tries to fly off, but ends up crashing, and he's just laying in the desert sand like that. Those scenes kind of mimicked each other. I thought that was pretty cool. But he's Loki's in the desert, and the Time Authority shows up, and the main one in charge was I might butcher her name because I've never heard it pronounced before, and I'm sorry, but it's like Wunmi Masaku. Wunmi Musaku. I think that's how you say it. She's the actress that played. She was in Lovecraft Country, and she played the black girl who was taken. Spoilers if you haven't seen Lovecraft Country. Spoilers for like episode 3, I think. Episode 3 and on, because it's like a reoccurring thing that happens in the show. So if you haven't seen Lovecraft Country, I'm finna spoil part of it. Sorry, but she plays the black girl who was taking the potion to make her a white girl, so she can see how it feels to be a white lady in a I was gonna say a white dominated society, but it's not like we're not living in a white dominated society. I'm getting deep today, huh? What's up with all this existential shit that's coming out? That's not what this episode is supposed to be. Anyway, she's taking a potion so she could be a white woman. She also was sleeping with a white dude that was actually a white woman. Listen, if you ain't never seen Lovecraft Country, that shit get weird. But I mean that in the best possible way. It gets good weird. But yeah, anyway, she's in here, and she's playing a literal time cop. She's a literal time cop. And she's great. She smacks the shit out of Loki, and she arrests him. She takes him back to the the TVA base, Time Variance Authority. Takes him back to the base, and I thought this was going to be her only part. I thought she was going to be in the early scene, and then that was it, and I was kind of sad. But she was in the whole episode. And I looked it up on IMDb. Spoilers, she's in all 6 episodes. So she gets a reoccurring role, and I'm super happy because she was really great at this. It's really a way different role than she was in Lovecraft Country. And I'm super happy because she was great. She played a straight character. And I don't mean straight as in sexuality. I mean straight as in no jokes, no burly any smiling. I'm serious about my job. She played that kind of character. She hands Loki over to, basically puts him in an elevator. No, basically puts him in a room that only drops. Like there's just a floor that opens up and then you drop out. This whole thing was really funny. Like I don't know if they're gonna continue the sense of humor because apparently there is some fucked up shit happening. But him entering the TVA society and being as confused as the viewer is on what the fuck is going on and having nobody answer any of his questions was just funny as hell. First he gets stripped by a robot. He falls into another thing, and the guy's like, "Hey, are you giving consent that you are a human being with a soul?" And well, not a human being, but you're a living being with a soul and not a robot. And he's like, "Wait, do a lot of people come through here that are robots and not know that they're robots?" He's like, "Bro, look, can you just come on and walk through the machine, bro?" And he was like, what is the machine? Like, what is this machine? And he was like, "It does this, but can you come on?" Like the dude's rushing him, and it's funny as hell because it's like, bro, I just need answers. All of this is foreign to me. Can you just like answer some questions? And then like he walks through like what looks like a metal detector, and it takes a scan of him, and he's like, it blinds him, and then like a little Polaroid picture comes out, and he's like, "What the fuck is that?" And he's like, "It's a temporal anomaly." No, he said it's like your temporal aura or something like that. And then Loki's like, "The fuck's a temporal aura?" And he just pushes him to the next room. It's just funny to just have all these questions and get no answers. Because you gotta think that will be frustrating as hell if you went through that in real life. Just push into the next room and just no questions asked. So he gets to this next room, and it looks like the DMV in this bitch. It's just long lines cut off by ropes, where there's nobody here, so why the fuck do you got these maze ass velvet rope ass lines when I should just be able to walk to the front. It, you could just see, like, it's funny to see Loki. What's what I'm looking for? Not condemn. Fuck, what is the word I'm looking for? Something. It's like when you give in to somebody's way, like you could concede. It's so funny to see him concede to these people and just go, fine, I'll take a ticket. Fine, I'll walk through this stupid ass line. It's just, it's really funny because it is Loki. And what you got to remember is that this is not the Loki you know. This is not the Loki that was killed by Thanos. This is the spoilers for Endgame, by the way. If you haven't seen, look, I'm not doing no spoiler alerts for no MCU stuff. Like if you ain't caught up on MCU stuff, bro, I don't know what to tell you. I'll do spoilers for the thing I'm talking about, but that's it. I mean, I'll spoil some from WandaVision stuff, and I'll spoil some damn the Falcon and the Winter Soldier shit. I'll spoil any movie. But the show I won't. I'll give you a spoiler warning on the show. But yeah, this ain't the Loki that was in Thor Ragnarok. They got killed by Thanos. This is the Loki. Like, this show literally picks up right at the end of the first Avengers movie. Like hours after he lost the Battle of New York. Like the show picks up there. So you could just, it's just so funny to see like cocky ass, I'm meant to rule the world Loki in this jumpsuit going through line and taking a ticket and waiting for somebody to address him. It was really funny. It was a really I think they call it juxtaposition, where you're used to being here and now you're forced to be in the opposite spot. It was dope. It was dope. Or somewhere around this point they do the intro to the show. And it's very simple, very minimalistic, but it's very cool. The music I thought was really dope. And it's just basically the word Loki, and it's the letters are switching to different types of fonts. And it's in like old TV format, which I thought was dope, because the whole TVA, they use really old dated tech. Not, I won't call it dated. It's all old, but it's like they choose to use it. I don't know why, but that's just what they do. So then he there's this funny ass scene where he's in a courtroom and they're like, hey, you did this shit. Do you plead guilty or innocent, or guilty or not guilty? And he's like, I'm not guilty of doing no time shit. You need to blame the Avengers, because if they wouldn't have time traveled, then I wouldn't have got the Tesseract. Then I wouldn't be here in the first place. And I thought that was really cool, because it was like the fact that Loki was able to figure out that the Avengers time traveled was pretty damn dope. Because it's like, how does he know that? Because he didn't necessarily see anybody. He said he smelt the cologne of 2 Tony Starks, which, if that's for real, then that's funny as hell. Because if you remember in Endgame, Ant-Man made fun of Tony Stark for wearing Axe. And so if that's what really happened, that's pretty damn funny. But yeah, that shows how smart he is, that he figured out that the Avengers time traveled back. He don't know why, because how could he? But he knew that they did some time traveling shenanigans. But then he tries to use his magic, and it's funny as hell. But that's when you learn that magic doesn't do anything in this TVA world. Because from what I learned outside, me doing my research outside of the show, is that the time variance authority exists in its own dimension. It's outside of time. It's outside of every other dimension that exists. And so magic doesn't work here at all. So you can just hang that shit up. So he couldn't do what he normally does. That's when Owen Wilson's character shows up, which what a just way to continue y'all streak of just amazing casting. Just Owen Wilson playing some guy named, I think his name's Mobius. See, Mobius? I think it's like Mobius twice. But he's like a pretty good, not pretty good. He's like a pretty high ranking officer in the TVA, and he takes custody of Loki, and he's like, I'm gonna take you back here. We're gonna talk because he has plans for Loki. He needs Loki's help, but he doesn't tell why he needs Loki's help. But then they go to clearly easily the best part of the episode, where basically it's a long just a sit down where they just have a conversation, and he's showing Loki clips of his life through this projector thing, and it's like super meta because now that Loki is outside of his own timeline because of what he did with the Tesseract. Now he's outside of his own timeline, and he doesn't. I believe he doesn't exist in that timeline anymore. It's really meta to see him watching the shit happen as if he's an audience member watching these movies again, like we watched them. It's meta as fuck. But it was dope to see. They really how do I put it? They really go into this, which I hope is a trend they continue as the story goes on. But they really go deep into Loki's psyche, like what Loki thinks of himself, how the world sees Loki, and how he can't deal with the fact that he may just be a character in somebody else's story. And that's what I mean by meta. Like, it really feels super. I don't know if the meta shit was on purpose or not, but it feels super meta because he has to deal with the fact that he's a character in a story, and it's not his story. He's not the main character. They even go so far as to say, but it's your job to fuck people over so they can become the best versions of themselves. Like, you're destined to lose. Like, you're not a winner and you won't rule. And they just shit on him so hard, bro. And it's like, it's kind of like, yeah, that's what you get. But at the same time, if you know the Loki we know that made it all the way to Endgame, it sucks because that Loki was kind of trying to redeem himself. But this Loki right here deserves it, because this is the Loki from fucking Avengers 1, and that dude was a dick. So it's just really crazy how they just really deep dive and just break down everything Loki is. And I don't know, it just get really deep. There's a scene later that I'm gonna tell you about that. It gets even deeper, but eventually Loki does what Loki does, and he breaks free, and he gets out of there. And he goes back to find the dude that has the Tesseract because he needs that to get the hell up out of her. He finds him. They have a funny ass conversation where he threatens to gut him like a fish, and the guy doesn't even know what a fish is. But eventually he's like, here, man, here's the Tesseract. He pulls it out of a drawer, and Loki looks in the drawer, and he sees like 12 Infinity Stones just laying there. And he's like, bro, why the fuck y'all got all these Infinity Stones there? And the guy doesn't even know what Infinity Stones are. Just to show you the level of complexity that goes on here, a Tesseract and an Infinity Stone ain't even on these people's radar. The guy who works there is like, yeah, some of them use them from paperweights. An Infinity Stone? Like, do you know what the fuck we just went through with the Infinity Stones? Like, it's mind blowing, really. It's really mind blowing. But what it just really goes to show that, like, it hits you at the same time it hits Loki, because at this point he's like, man, I might not be able to escape this bitch, bro. Like, these people, my magic don't work here. Infinity Stones mean nothing here. Like, how can Infinity Stones are the most powerful things in the universe? How can they be less powerful than this time shit? And so, I mean, it's literally the Infinity Stone's job to control the stream of time. At least that's what the Ancient One says in Endgame. She says it's their job to maintain the stream of time. So if you take one Infinity Stone away, it fucks up the timeline. So you got to put that bitch back. So to see a drawer of like 12 Infinity Stones just sitting there is kind of mind blowing. And then he realizes, he's like, man, these people, because the whole time he's been mocking them, he's like, this shit ain't real. This shit just he says a line that's pretty impressive, but then it folds back on him later on in the episode where he's like, "This whole thing, bro, it's just an illusion made up by the weak to instill fear." And he says that to Owen Wilson's character. And Owen Wilson's like, "Oh, bro, whatever you say, we got the power." But then once he sees that the Tesseract he brought with him can't do shit, and there's a drawer full of Infinity Stones that can't do shit, he's like, man, these people might really be that. They might not be lying to me, bro. They may be that for real. But then he goes back to the room where he was talking to Owen Wilson, and he starts watching footage, because there's a scene earlier that I skipped because I want to talk about it here. Is that Owen Wilson's character shows him the video of his mother dying. Now keep in mind, Loki and Thor's mom doesn't die till Thor 2. Thor 2 comes place after the first Avengers. So Loki doesn't know his mom's dead. Well, she's not dead yet to him. She hasn't died in this timeline yet. Because keep in mind, this is a few hours after the first Avengers. So he has to see his mom die. So then later on in the episode, he's watching more clips of his life after like what he does, what he accomplishes, because he assumes he becomes God King of Midgard, and then the other 9 realms. That's what he assumes. So he's watching clips of himself, and then he has to see his father die, and he's like, God damn, he just watched his mom die. Now he gonna watch his father die, who died in Thor 3. Which, damn, I just realized that. His mom died in Thor 2. He also was supposed to have died in Thor 2. And his dad dies in Thor 3. But, so he has to watch his dad die. And then he skips all the way to Endgame. And then he has to watch Thanos kill him. I'm like, man, can you imagine watching your mom die, your dad die, and then watching yourself get killed within like hours of itself? What a mind fuck. But that's once again, that's the meta. Because it's like he's watching these movies like we watched them. But yeah, I think that's when they get deep. Because remember earlier I said they get deeper than that, where he starts realizing that. Because Owen Wilson asks him all these personal questions. He's like, why do you want to be king? Why do you feel like you're destined? Like, why do you hurt people? Do you enjoy hurting people? And he realizes, he's like, I don't enjoy hurting people. And he's like, well, what do you mean? He's like, I don't enjoy it. I have to do it. He's like, okay, explain that to me. Why do you have to hurt people? He's like, it's part of the illusion. It's an illusion created by the weak. And he points at himself when he says that, to instill fear. And it's like, whoa, he just called himself weak. And it's like, you realize in that moment that Loki is just like, he's just like a bully picking on people because of his own insecurities. And it's pretty deep, bro. Like, I can't lie. Like, these shows, at least WandaVision and The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, have done a good job of deep diving into these characters' mental state. And like, so you really get to see what's going on in their heads in a way that the movies just don't have time for. And when you see him make that realization in real time that, wow, I'm just a weakling trying to get people to be scared of me because I'm not strong enough to actually make them afraid of me. It's crazy. It's deep. I absolutely loved it because it's just, once again, it just shows off Tom Hiddleston's acting ability. And also, it's like, how do I put it? It's almost like you get to see him have that entire, you get to see a quicker version of his character development that he had from the first Avengers all the way to Endgame. But you get to see that within the context of a few minutes here. And it's done great. Like, normally I don't like rush development. I don't like them trying to make you earn a character's not make you I said that wrong. I don't like when a show tries to make you care about a character. instead of just earning it through developing the character. But this one does a really good job of shortcutting, but doing it right. So it was dope. I enjoyed it. It kind of like you kind of feel sorry for him. Like if you're the type of guy that's compassionate like me, and you just look at a bully and you go, I feel sorry for you, bro. Like that's how I felt here. And then so once they have that breakthrough, Mobius is like Owen Wilson's character is like, look, bro, honestly, I need your help. There's a guy who there's some dangerous variants out there, and I need your help catching one. He's like, you need a guide of mission to catch a variant, bro. Like how could I possibly help you? He's like, because the person we trying to catch is you. And it was like a dope reveal just at the end of the episode. It was like, because they had been showing glimpses, which I passed it up because I wanted to talk about it here. But there was scenes they were showing where different times, like one was in 1958, one was in like I don't know, the years jumped all over the place. But there was a couple of scenes where they showed a mysterious hooded figure killing a bunch of time cops. They call themselves Minutemen, but I like Time Cop better. They showed themselves. They showed this. I don't want to say him because I don't know. They like you literally so hooded and so mysterious you can't even tell if it's a man or a woman, and they never talk. So they just show a figure, and they show him killing off some people. And so this is the character that they need to hunt. So you find out it's Loki. That's what Mobius says. Like, we need you to help us find, I guess, another time variant version of you that's way worse than you are. So I can't wait. I mean, there's already been rumors before the show even came out that Loki's going to be hunting down different versions of himself. Because, I mean, he's a shapeshifter. So there's so many different versions. There's more fucked up versions. There's nicer versions. There's more heroic versions. There's a female version. There's an old version. There's a young version. There's hella versions of Loki. I don't know who's going to be in this show, but I can't wait. It's going to be so dope, bro. I'm definitely thinking I'm going to enjoy this show as much or more than I enjoyed The Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision. And I just can't wait. That was the end of the episode. The last thing they showed with the hooded figure killing some people. And whew, goddamn was it impressive, man. The entire episode. I've watched it 3 times already, which is more than I watched either first episode of WandaVision or The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. More than I've watched them within the first week of the episode coming out. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was dope as hell. I think that's all I got to say about the show. I think that's all I got to say about the Loki show. But I think that's wrapping up today's episode as well. Episode 13 of the podcast. I think I'm done. I want to thank y'all for coming through. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for spending time with me. I know I be rambling on, and sometimes you be like, dude, I need you to get to the point. But I think that's what y'all love about me. I mean, I know that's certainly what I love about me. But thank you. Like I said, I love y'all. Thank you for coming through. Please feel free to, if you can, like or comment on the podcast. Go ahead. If you can, don't worry about it. If you are the type to like to listen to it on YouTube, I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, apologize. I am missing 2 episodes. The last 2 episodes, 11 and 12, I haven't put up on the channel yet. By the way, the channel is youtube.com/deethezo. That's D-E. I almost spelled YouTube. Like I really need to fucking spell YouTube. That's DEETHEZO. All one word, of course. Yeah, I still gotta. When this episode's done, it's gonna be 3 episodes I need to put up. So I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry. I'm going to do it. I promise. But there's still 10 episodes up. There's 12 episodes up. There's 10 episodes and there's 2 bonus episodes. So that's plenty of content. But it's not good enough for whatever nation. You're right. It ain't good enough. So I'm going to get to it. Once again, I am truly sorry. I will get it done. I've been a little... I'm not going to make excuses. I'm going to get it done. But with that note, that's the end of the episode. We're winding down. We're going ahead and get off the air. I love y'all. Always remember there is a link in the description of the video and in the description of the episode where you can donate some money to the podcast if you want to. Absolutely do not have to. I gotta say it. You know what I'm saying? It's like on the YouTube channel when you say, please hit the subscribe button and like the video. I don't want to say it, but I gotta say it. You gotta, it's like paying the bills, bro. You don't want to, you gotta do it. But with that said and done, I love y'all. I'm out. Peace.